Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, imagine this. You're a PM over at Facebook. You come in one morning, check the dashboard, and bam, friend requests have just tanked.
Yeah, dropped by 10% overnight.
A massive 10%. I mean, it's huge, right? What even goes through your head first?
Oh, total digital emergency, yeah.
Oh.
And this isn't just made up. It's actually from a real PM interview transcript. So today, we're going to unpack this exact problem.
We'll sort of step into the PM shoes.
Exactly. See how they tackle this sudden, kind of mysterious drop.
Okay, let's dive in. 10%, just like that. It screams something big just happened, doesn't it?
Totally. So the PM's first thought, and it's a smart one, is clarifying scope.
Yep.
Is this brand new, or has it been, slowly getting worse?
And the answer is overnight. Just that one night. Poof.
Okay, see, that's key. That tells you it's probably not some slow shift in user habits. You're looking for a trigger, something sudden.
Right, so next question. Where? It's happening everywhere. All users.
Good point. And the data shows it's actually U.S. only.
U.S. only.
Yeah, but across platforms within the U.S. So mobile, web, doesn't matter.
Okay, U.S. only. Both platforms. And is it just friend requests? Or is everything else looking weird too?
And that's the other critical piece. Nope, it's only friend requests. Everything else, business as usual.
Wow. Okay, that specificity. That's super helpful, right? Because if everything was down, you'd think maybe the whole site crashed or something.
Exactly. But this isolates it, really narrows the focus. So the PM also wonders, could this be, predictable, a pattern?
Like, does this happen every year after a big holiday or something?
Yeah, some kind of seasonality. But the answer, nope, no history of this kind of dip.
Okay, so not seasonal, U.S. only, just friend requests happened overnight. The PM's next move makes sense. Look inward.
Yeah, check your own house first, right? Could this be something we did? An internal glitch?
Self-inflicted wound.
Precisely. Before you start blaming the weather or, competitors, rule out your own systems, the PM would immediately check for, product degradation.
Meaning bugs, slow loading,
right?
That kind of thing.
Yeah, or maybe the feature got buried somehow. Did we accidentally make the Add Friend button harder to find in a recent update?
Oh, right, like a bad UI change.
But in this scenario, nope. No major UI changes, feature still prominent.
Okay, so the feature itself seems fine. But then there's a really, really important question. Can we actually trust that 10% number?
The data integrity question.
Crucial.
Is the data itself broken? Maybe it's just a reporting error.
Absolutely fundamental check. If your measurement is off, you're chasing ghosts. But for this case study, we assume the data is solid. The drop is real.
Okay. Phew. So internal checks seem clear. No obvious Facebook screw-ups causing this.
Right. So time to widen the lens, look outside the company walls.
External factors. And the first place to look is user behavior. Have people in the U.S. just collectively decided overnight they're done making friends on Facebook?
Seems unlikely, right? And the data backs that up. No big shift in overall user behavior patterns detected.
Okay, so it's not the users suddenly changing their minds en masse. What's next? Competitors. Bingo! Gotta look at the competitive landscape. And who looms large there?
TikTok, obviously. Everyone's talking about TikTok.
Right, so the question becomes, did TikTok launch some killer new Find Your Friends feature yesterday that just sucked all the air out of the room?
That would be dramatic.
It would. But here's where it gets nuanced. The interviewer in the transcript points out that TikTok isn't static. It's, actively trying to be more social.
So not just videos, but more connection features.
Exactly. They're evolving. So the threat isn't just a direct copycat feature. It's about where users are choosing to spend their social energy, right? Maybe TikTok is becoming the place for certain kinds of connections.
Okay, that makes sense as a background pressure. But still, that overnight 10% drop feels really abrupt for just gradual platform evolution.
Agreed. It doesn't quite explain the suddenness. So the PM keeps digging. Next area, regulations.
Legal stuff.
And this is where the scenario throws in a curveball. A hypothetical but totally plausible situation.
Okay, what is it?
Imagine a new data privacy law passed instantly overnight in a specific European country.
Okay, a European law.
Yeah.
But the drop is in the U.S. How does that connect?
Think about the ripple effect. What if this new law suddenly restricts how data can be shared between, say, that European country and the U.S.?
Oh, so maybe users in that country suddenly can't send or receive friend requests from people in the U.S.
Precisely. Or vice versa, if that connection pathway is suddenly blocked by law.
That would directly hit the number of friend requests, especially between those regions. Wow, okay.
Yeah, it highlights how interconnected these global platforms are. A rule change in one place can have immediate, measurable effects elsewhere, even if it seems counterintuitive at first.
That's a much more direct explanation for a sudden drop, even if the law is elsewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a big one.
Definitely a strong contender. But the PM considers one more angle, too.
Which is?
Marketing. Ad spend, promotional campaigns.
Has Facebook itself changed anything there? Like cut back on ads encouraging people to connect?
And the answer in this scenario is yes. Apparently, there's been a budget adjustment. Facebook has decreased its marketing spend recently.
Okay. Now, would that cause an instant 10% drop just by itself? Maybe not overnight.
Probably not quite that sharp, no. But it could definitely make things worse, right? If you're facing headwinds from regulation and competition, and you also ease off the gas pedal on marketing.
It just amplifies the problem. Okay. So, putting it all together, the PM is starting to see a picture emerge.
Yeah, it's not just one thing. It sounds like a bit of a perfect storm, doesn't it?
It really does. You've got this potential regulatory block from Europe hitting cross-border requests.
Uh-huh. Then you've got TikTok getting more social, maybe slowly siphoning off some of that connection intent.
And then Facebook itself pulls back on marketing, weakening its own push for connections.
It's a compelling synthesis. Shows how these external pressures, regulatory, competitive, can interact with internal decisions, like budget cuts.
And create a really noticeable impact on a key metric.
Okay, so our PM has some pretty strong hypotheses now. What's the next step? Like, what happens Monday morning? What do they actually do?
Right. Diagnosis is one thing, action is another.
Yeah.
Top priority. That European law.
Gotta understand it fully.
Absolutely. First call is to the legal and privacy teams. Like, walk me through this. What exactly does this law say? What can users do? What can they not do now?
You need to know the specifics. Where in the user journey does this new law actually, kick in and block something?
Precisely. Pinpoint the friction. Is it searching for users across regions, sending the request, receiving it? You need that granular detail.
Makes total sense. Can't fix it if you don't know exactly where it's broken.
Exactly. So once they understand the what and the where of the restriction,
then it's brainstorming time.
Yep. Time to ideate.
Yeah.
How can we operate within these new legal lines? Are there workarounds? Can we maybe change the flow?
Like, design a new way for users to interact that respects the law, but still allows some form of connection if possible. Maybe it might involve developing and testing completely new UI flows, specifically for users affected by this regulation, or for interactions between affected and unaffected regions.
Requires some real agility then, adapting quickly.
Definitely. Adapting to regulatory changes, competitive shifts.
Yeah.
It's all part of the game for these big platforms.
Okay, so let's recap the likely story here. This sudden 10% nosedive in U.S. friend requests is probably not a single smoking gun.
Seems like a mix. Yeah.
You've got that European regulation potentially creating a direct barrier. You've got the background radiation of TikTok becoming more social.
Competitive pressure, yep.
And you've got Facebook's own decision to cut back on marketing, possibly making it harder to push back against those other forces.
It really paints a picture of just how complex things are for a global platform, doesn't it? A law in one continent impacts users on another. Competitors are always evolving.
And your own strategic choices matter too. It really shows that proactive analytical approach the PM took, systematically going through possibilities, internal, external.
Yeah, ruling things out, connecting the dots, collaborating with legal, privacy, potentially design and engineering next.
So maybe the big thought to leave everyone with is just how interconnected everything is. How do these huge platforms balance global rules, fierce competition, and their own strategies all at once?
It's a constant tightrope walk. And this case, even though hypothetical, gives a little glimpse into the complexity of keeping those connections flowing across the globe. What does it all mean for how we connect online in the future?
Or maybe definitely something to mull over. Healthcare models need to change. Will they integrate more with